What's up to Lion Talk Live? We love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Do Crew. This is Ball Hawk Ifeatu Melifonwu of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
All right, good morning. Greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I am your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, Tuesday edition, and I guess Vegas is already putting out odds. How many fights will there be today between the Detroit Lions and the New York Football Giants? You're seeing fights across the board as merged team workouts, training camp activities happen. It's not just the Lions and the Giants, but you know what? Hey, it's a sign that people are ready to get into it, ready to get after it, and ready to try to do what they can to earn a roster spot, get that team moving forward, make the playoffs, etc. Everybody's got the same goal right now, and that is to get into the playoffs and win the Super Bowl, and they want to go through you if you're on the other side of the team for it. All right, so as you can see from today's thumbnail, whatever, we got a little bit of news, a little bit of notes, trying to pay attention to stuff that the team's been working out through training camp and now into inter-squad scrimmages, and that is Jahmyr Gibbs might just be the Lions wide receiver number 3. We've been speculating about it since he was drafted. He's not just going to be a running back. He is going to be an offensive weapon. That's what we were told. That's what we were sold. He had the awesome end to the last year. I'd say about 70% of the year he was nothing but great. Yes, the first 3 or 4 games of the season, you could see where he was trying to adjust to NFL blocking assignments, reads, etc. But once he got past that little bit of a learning curve, he took off and he became one of the most feared running backs in the league. Now, can he extend that even further beyond just the running back room into the wide receiver room? I think there's compelling evidence that, yes, that is the case. You see him working out with St. Brown, Jameson Williams, everybody else out there. So we'll get into that after a couple other things. You know, we've got to get through 5 headlines now, some updates on the NFC North, what's happening with all the teams we're going to face in our division, etc. And before we get into all that, just real quick, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. We're making that push for 7,200 subs, and we're about, I don't know, something like, say 70 subs away from it, something like that. So if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, if you take a half second of time, free of charge, hit that thumbs up, like button, etc. Helps the channel grow. Try to get every show between 200 to 300 or more likes, thumbs up. Anthony from Lions Roar UK will join us at the bottom of the hour, so about 27 minutes from now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get it over to it. One last thing, almost forgot. If you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan, give me a call or shoot me a text. As most of you are probably aware, outside of being a coach, a YouTuber, and a scout, I am also a realtor, have been since the early 1990s. So give me a call if you're looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan. Let me see what I can do to help you out, make it a whole lot easier on you. All right, now with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into 5 headlines now. All right, 5 headlines now. We got some good ones, I think, for you guys today. So let's dive on into this. All right, starting off with breaking down the Detroit Lions' ongoing camp battles for offensive line depth roster spots. This is by USA Today. Jeff Risden, fan of the show, someone who's been on the show before. Probably need to reach out to him before the regular season opens and see if we can get him back on the show. But, you know, Def Jeff, he's always covering the Lions. He's on it, and he gives a pretty compelling different set of things. If you guys want to read into what's going on with the Detroit Lions, what's happening with them, and some of his insights onto what the team's doing as far as trying to make sure they have the proper depth at all the positions, who may be in the lead for some of the positions, who may be falling out of favor with different teams and coaches in their positions. So if you want a good read, go ahead and check that one out. All right, Giants Devin Singletary calls out Lions for hit that sparked training camp fights. Clutch points, story by Jay Prostrado, and this is from a New York Football Giants standpoint. If you want, go ahead and check it out. But yes, they've got some thoughts on it. Obviously, they're going to have a Giants view, not a Lions view on it as to why the fights broke out. Trying to paint us as the bad guys. Is that accurate? Probably not. But you know what? Hey, when you're the hometown reporter, you're going to try to protect your own. All right, Lions Dan Campbell, quote, I probably wouldn't be here, end quote, if not for the Giants organization. Also from Giants Wire, Dan Benton. So, we all get it. Dan Campbell, MCDC himself, had a pretty dang good career. Went through a lot of different stuff, played for quite a few different teams, and including the Detroit Lions, obviously. He's kind of the kind of guy that is always going to give props to those who helped him get to where he now is. And that's, I think, exactly what MCDC does in this article. All right, not talked about or not. Antoine Green still battling for key role in Lions offense. USA Today, and this is by Matthew Beigel. So, Green, I get it. We drafted him. Bigger body, speeder, faster receiver, I should say. Not speeder receiver, but, hey, the kid's got a lot of potential. It's just he's also in a huge battle for that number 5 or 6 wide receiver spot on this team. So is he going to come through? Is he going to win it? That I don't know. But if you want to get thoughts from somebody who's got feet on the ground, watching him on a daily basis, you might want to go out and check out this story. All right, last of our 5 headlines now. This Detroit Lions receiver has gone from unknown to unbelievable in training camp. Wide receiver Caden Davis has gone from Butler Community College to Detroit Lions training camp. And this is a story by the Detroit Free Press. Multiple reporters contributed to this story. But do I think he's going to make the Lions roster? Davis, that is? No, I do not. I don't think he's going to be one of the top 5 or 6 wide receivers. Do I think he has a legitimate shot at making the practice squad? That's where I probably agree with these reporters and say, yes, this guy has had a pretty good camp. Most of us aren't going to know who he is if he walks down the streets or whatever we pass him by. But I do think during the preseason games, you're going to see him get a lot of reps. And maybe he has an opportunity to make a name for himself either here in Detroit or somewhere else in the NFL. All right, with all of those out of the way, now let's go ahead and get over to the NFC North news and notes before we go over to the main topic of the day. All right, Green Bay Packers released quarterback Jacob Eason, who was signed during Jordan Love's holdout. So probably not a big surprise here if you're a Packers fan or just a casual sports fan. Hey, the guy had his time here. Hopefully he got a little bit of work, put in some tape, maybe get something out to some other teams for employment, but he is no longer going to be a Green Bay Packer. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Jordan Addison charged with DUI last night in California. This is from CBS News. Probably not a good thing for the Minnesota Vikings. They have unfortunately had a lot of bad moments this offseason, and this kind of continues that. So hopefully it's not a big deal for Addison. Hopefully he can get through it. Hopefully it's not something he's going to be burdened with, but it's not a good look for him either. And then lastly, the NFC news and notes, for today. The offensive line is drawing many questions leading to matchup with the Buffalo Bills. So Chicago Bears, this is related to their offensive line. Get it. They've got a lot of injuries going on. They got a lot of youth, a lot of guys that need to develop, and they are struggling. Could this be a prelude to how things are going to go in Chicago this season? That I don't know, but it will be interesting to see how they match up against the Bills and how they improve or don't improve protection that we saw last week. All right, with all that out of the way, let's go ahead and get into the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day, as you guys can see, we kind of already talked about a little bit, but Gibbs, what do you guys think of him? Should he just be a running back? Should he be the wide receiver number 3? And here's my thoughts. If you look at the strength of this team, how it seems to have been constructed, I think Gibbs and Montgomery are going to be in the backfield at the same time. I think a lot of times based on matchups, that one of them, if it's probably going to be more often than not Gibbs, is going to be motioned out to the slot or the X receiver or just somewhere out of the backfield. and he is going to be more or less your wide receiver number 3. So let's Scooby-Doo this real quick. Who are the best offensive weapons for the Detroit Lions? I think most people are going to say number 1 is going to be St. Brown. Obviously, at this point in his career, a couple seasons into it, he's made a name for himself. He's all pro, all world, whatever you want to say. He's one of the better wide receivers in the NFL. Sam Laporta, Sam I Am himself, it's hard to really see that he could do better than last year, but I think there is some possibility. This guy puts in a ton of work. We all get it. Him and St. Brown are like mirror images of each other in that when they're in practice and then even after practice, they're just doing all the extra stuff to make themselves as good as can be. So, yes, I do think Sam Laporta is going to have a better year than even a year ago. Now, the biggest thing entering this week at training camp is all the reports about Jameson Williams being that guy, over the top good. He's put it into another gear, another level, whatever kind of thing you want to say. They all seem to be yes. We've heard it from so many different reporters, so many different YouTube creators that, hey, Jameson Williams, he's going to take the top off the other team's defense, whatever. And then yesterday happened in Giants camp, and yes, he lit up the Giants. You could see him getting open in the end zone and just massive amounts of separation between him, the corner, and the safety. So I think that we're starting to see real evidence that, yes, Jameson Williams is going to be a difference maker for this team. And anybody who plays for the Detroit Lions, I'll even argue this. You got to worry about defending him first over anybody else, because if you don't stop him, he can do a house call on every play. With that being said, those are probably your 3 primary receiving threats. And now who are you going to put along with them on the field? I do think you're going to see probably more evidence that their Lions are going to keep 4 or 5 running backs for this next point. I think David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs are going to be flexed out as wide receivers. At least Gibbs, how about that? But I do think there'll be times Montgomery will as well. Gibbs is just a rare talent. When it comes to a physical specimen, he's got speed, agility, and athleticism that the vast majority of humans on planet Earth do not have. So why would you not put defenses in bad situations and say, hey, we're going to put a split backfield out there. Now, pre-snap, I'm going to motion him out and see who I get on him. Is it a linebacker? That guy's toast. I don't care what linebacker it is in the NFL. I don't care if it's Lawrence Taylor. I don't care who you put out there. Every linebacker in this league is going to struggle to cover Gibbs in a one-on-one situation where he's out and now a receiving threat. He's just too dang quick, athletic, and we've gone through it. He's got too much of that factor going for him. And I think Ben Johnson is open-minded enough to say, hey, he's not just a running back. He is an offensive player, and I need to put him in the best position possible to succeed. With all that being said, I think Gibbs, he may not be wide receiver number 3 all the time, but I think he's going to be your primary wide receiver 3 just for those aforementioned reasons. There will be times I'm sure Khalif Raymond will be out there. Who knows? Fountain may be there if he makes the team. Maybe Donovan Peoples-Jones, although you do have more and more reports, even MCDC himself coming out and more or less saying he's not been openly impressed with Donovan Peoples-Jones, that he makes some plays and he falls off other times. So I would say there's probably growing evidence that Donovan Peoples-Jones might not be so safe at making the 53-man roster. All right, you guys have heard my thoughts. What are your thoughts on Gibbs? I will say this. You put Laporta, you put Gibbs, you put Jameson Williams out there, man, you got a lot of guys with speed. And not to say that St. Brown is slow, but you think about Jameson Williams' speed, you think about Jahmyr Gibbs' speed, that's next level speed. I also think there could be times when Khalif Raymond's out there and, those 3 alone, man, you've got to have some fast people out there guarding them, and you're going to have to expand that defense to make sure you cover all of them. And that's going to obviously allow a Laporta or St. Brown or whoever else to run free a little bit easier if that happens. All right, enough of me talking about it. Let's see what you guys have to say at Duke Crew. What are your thoughts on this? Am I wrong? Am I right? What do you think? Is it a good idea or a bad idea to have that guy out there running pass patterns and catching it? Let's get into it. See, Michael D. Greetings and salutations, Coach and Duke Crew! Exclamation points. Super Bowl or bust, one pride. Woo, woo! And just for you, a little woo-woo. Nothing like morning woo. All right, JDC, morning all, back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Scrum City is on a highway to hell. They call me Mr. Gibbs. I see Super Bowl. Woo! And yes, I'll go with all that. And good morning to you too, Bo. See, Big Daz. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. I would like to hear if we at least won the fights yesterday. Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to say this. We're undefeated. We might need to go out onto the practice field with like WWE championship belts or whatever and just kind of add to it. Maybe get everybody to have a good laugh about it. But, hey, you're going to have guys out there in the heat. You're going to have them hitting. They're going to tussle. See, Jess, greetings, salutations, everyone. I like the idea, Coach, exclamation point. Put Gibbs out there and let him shake and bake. Yeah, I think that's kind of the idea. Let him shake and bake. Let him go after it. Let him see what he can do to, just put other defensive coordinators in a bad position, especially their players. See, Big Daz looking like they're moving Gibbs along slowly in being a wide receiver. Wide receiver, running back, who knows, man? Maybe they can get him out there throwing some passes too, and he could be a sometimes scrambled quarterback. So you never know, man. Never know. See, Detroit D, greetings, salutations, everyone. Back at you, D. Hopefully you have an outstanding morning. Hatman, good wet Tuesday morning to everyone. Woo, baby, woo, 100%. I'll go with that. Yes, and stay dry if you can. But I do like the decreased temperature outside. Michael D, I would rather have a linebacker cover Gibbs than a cornerback. Yeah, and that might be what happens. Again, not to belate the point, but I think you're going to put defensive coordinators in a bad spot if they're going to put linebackers, maybe even the vast majority of safeties on them. Cornerbacks, you may have to go that route. But if you put a corner on them, do I now motion him back in the backfield for a handoff? That I don't know. Wait and see. Or maybe like a jet sweep, something like that. Let's see. So, good morning, Coach, and everyone else. Same to you, Surfer. Hopefully having a good one. Dave, good morning, Coach, and all. Back at you, Dave. Hopefully it is a great day for you. See, Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Yes. Jay Wow and Gibbs, along with St. Brown, Laporta, with Montgomery in the backfield. Yes, and that's kind of where I'm thinking, man, that's a lot of talent out there on offense. And if you can put them all in favorable matchups, somebody's going to win that matchup. All right, Hatman, let's see. Loving the rain, taking a break from cutting and splitting wood in the heat. Yeah, maybe you can cut it in a little bit less hot environment. We'll go with that. See, Clark, good morning, all. Personally, I'm liking the rain as it's cooled everything down a lot. Yes, it has. And today, got the windows open, AC off. It's feeling pretty good in here. See, Doug, in the offensive playbook, it would seem being number 3 would be right. In the past, we split up the offense pretty well. I'm sure with Ben, every year we'll have some variety. He's not just a running back. Yeah, he's not just a running back. Plus, I mean, you just put other teams in a bad spot. I think at least when you motion them out of the backfield or have them come out of the backfield, because once you've done this a few times, teams are going to start prepping for it. You're going to start trying to figure it out. And that's where I think if you really want somebody to cover them and have a high degree of success, unless you're playing zone and doubling him, you're probably having to put a corner on him. Somebody that's a little bit faster, quicker, more agile. So we'll see. Server, it would be that Branch back at safety was done because of his ankle injury is severe and limits his nickel roll? Question mark. Is he 100% with that leg? I think the leg's fine. I think the ankle's getting there. Still yesterday he was on the sideline doing individual workout. I think they're just being careful with it. I don't believe they're putting him at safety just because of maybe decreased agility or mobility. I think it's just because you want to have good strengths at every level of your defense, just like you would every level of the offense. And I think by having Branch out there, you put a real strong player out there. It's nothing against Iffy or Kirby, but Branch is pretty dang good, I think most people would say. The other aspect is you've now invested so much into the cornerback room, you have more flexibility to move somebody like a Brian Branch into the safety position. At least that's my thoughts. Bo, 2 backs, backfield, bash and slash defense. We have no idea how to cover them. Yeah, and I think, agreed. You're going to put a lot of people in bad spots out there. All right, Big Eddie, greetings and salutations all. Just another day closer to kickoff. Anyone have updates on Arnold? We should get something today, I'm guessing, from the Lions when they do their updates, but I don't think there's been anything official unless I've missed it with either him or Kevin Zeitler, or Brian Branch or any of them. I think there's just all kind of coming along. We'll get something today, though, I'm sure, on Arnold. Let's see, Doug. However, Kansas City used Travis Kelce. Laporta is pretty high on Goff's list, too. Yeah, I would say you're spot on with that, Doug. Spot on. Darcy, good morning, Duke Crew. When we drafted Gibbs, everyone said he wouldn't be just a running back, that he was going to be a, quote, offensive weapon. Well, clearly Dan Skipper must have taken him under his wing and said, you know what, I'm going to coach you up. I'm going to bring you along. I'm going to make you an offensive weapon. Hopefully you all get that from the intro, where I'm going with that. Hatman, enjoying the rain with my coffee and a little puff, waiting for the show to start. Lions Talk Live. Hey, glad you're having a good time, getting ready for the show, and hopefully you're enjoying the show. Silver Server, keep Jahmyr in the backfield. Let the receivers be receivers and use him to have defenses bring 8-man into the box. Then you toss him a few, but not overloaded. Keep them fresh and ready. Yeah, I'm sure they're going to use him in a lot of different ways. He is going to be a running back, but I think they're also going to take advantage of different situations and maybe motion him out sometimes. Jason, greetings, salutations all. This is a little crazy headline. Crazy good, I suspect. The season is shaping up quite well. Superdome or bust, 1,000% with that. I'll agree with you, Jason. France, good evening all. Gibbs is a rare talent. Get him that ball in space and let him cook it up. Yeah, I'm guessing that's where Ben Johnson is going with things, because if you get him the ball in a one-on-one matchup in space, he makes the first guy miss. Man, now you got everybody in the defense in scramble mode, a couple key blocks, and it could be a real big play for the Detroit Lions. See, Doug, when they drafted Gibbs, Brad said he's not just a running back. He's never a decoy. Gibbs is a weapon, and that's where I agree, Doug. They're going to do everything they can to make him stand out even more and more. I don't think they're going to have him receive kicks on the kickoffs. I know I've seen some people speculate on that, or punts. I just don't think they're going to do that with him or Jameson Williams, unless it was like a big game, games on the line. Although I guess you could say every game's a big game, but you guys get it. Unless it was a game-deciding play or something. Let's see, Trey, what's good all? Question mark. How many fights are we expecting to happen today? These two teams went at it. Yeah, they did. And I know when I did the video update yesterday, they had already had 3. I think it finished somewhere around 8 or 9 different disagreements, I guess you could say, or people talking about somebody. But, hey, yeah, it'll probably get heated today, too, although maybe not as much as guys, you got some of that adrenaline out of you as far as the first day going against somebody else. It probably will cool down a little bit today. Of course, the weather may help with that, too. Silver Server, hit that like. Yes, if you haven't yet subscribed or hit the like button, please consider doing so. Bo, thank you both for that. Doug, the one thing about Barry Sanders was he never seemed to be a part of the passing game. Don't know if he didn't have the hands or the inspiration or just not Ben Johnson to mix it in. Barry, they never really did overly get him into it, and it's not like he didn't catch passes, but he was never a part of really the run and shoot or the other offenses that went with it. The reasons why, man, I don't know. I think mostly it just came down to the offensive coordinators that he had at the time. I could be completely wrong on that. See, Quentin, greetings, salutations, y'all. Yo, I am thinking this year's offense is going to be even more powerful than last year's. Yeah, and I think there's some real stunning possibilities for that. Just because you look at the key players from last year, let's just start with the rookies, Gibbs and Laporta, and say, man, they're going to be even better, wiser. You're going to be able to utilize them both in different roles just because they're going to understand the NFL better. St. Brown, he's really starting to come into his prime. And the fact that he's not even in that yet, he's just starting to scrape it, I think he's got more upside. Jameson Williams, we all get it. We beat this topic up, and yesterday just kind of further improved that. He now doesn't drop passes. He now runs better routes. That athleticism is just game-changing in itself. I think this offense could be crazy good. And I know we've talked about it before. I think it could be the second coming of the greatest show on turf or something along those lines. But I think it's just going to be dang hard for the average defense to keep up with Detroit Lions offense. All right, Detroit D. Gibbs has, Marshall Faulk skill set. I can see him going for 1,100 yards rushing and another 750 in the air. Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Detroit D. I think you're real spot on with that. He's a matchup problem. And it's nothing disrespectful for every other running back in the league. It's just there are very few running backs that can do everything he does. There are some for sure. But when you get someone like that, you put the defense in a bad spot, make them have to guard him all over the field. Lions fan number one, good morning, Duke Crew, back at you. Hatman, Detroit D, I can definitely see that. Yeah, me too. Marshall Faulk comparisons, 100%. Bo Gibbs has been working with Amon-Ra St. Brown, the sun god, and that has to be a good thing. Yeah, getting him more acclimated to the receiving aspects of the game. Voltron Force, I like the comparison to Detroit D. Yeah, I think you'd have to if you're a Lions fan. See, buddy, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, buddy. Hopefully it's a great day. See, Broski, are you concerned that offseason signings Zettler and Reeder are both not practicing? Not at all, man. Not at all. Being new to the team and not getting reps will either be ready for the start of the season. I think they both will be. Of course, we'll get some updates on Zettler as far as his shoulder injury. Hopefully it's nothing big. The fact that Adam Scheffler, somebody hasn't leaked something out, leads me to believe that at least at this point, I'm leaning towards it's probably not a big deal. DJ Reader, he's doing some stuff on the sidelines with trainers, so he's kind of the same boat with a lot of people who are recovering from injuries. I think the Lions are just giving him every opportunity to rest up, heal up, get strength and conditioning back before they put him on the field. My anticipation is he's still going to be a week one starter. So, yeah, no real worries with either one of them, at least not as of yet. All right, Trey D. I feel like he's like most great running backs, one cut away from going to the house. No, I think you're spot on with that, and that's why I think they're going to involve him more and more in the passing game. Because if you get him out in space, like you're talking about, Detroit D, you get him out in space, that first guy, he makes a miss. Man, it's just a world of hurt for anybody else because they're going to have to scramble to cover him. He is so fast, so lightning, that one or two key blocks, and yeah, he has a real opportunity to make a house call. Steve Rogers, good morning, all. The captain's reporting. Good to see you, Cap, as always. Hopefully you're having a great day. Bo Gibbs is faster than Falk was. That I don't know offhand, but it could be. Broski, any concerns after the Lions cornerbacks looked like burnt toast yesterday at the joint practice? Not that kind of joint. No, I thought they made some plays. I mean, are they going to stop everything? Nah, the NFL rules aren't set up like that. You get that, Broski. I mean, your guys, I don't know if you watched your first preseason game, but you guys gave up some pretty big plays to quarterbacks I didn't think you would. But I'll just put it this way. I think like most defenses, you're coming along slowly. Most offenses have an advantage early in camp over defenses where they have to kind of gel a bit more. Plus, you have so many new guys in the Detroit Lions secondary. You got to give them time to kind of get on the same page. They'll get there, I have no doubt. But they also did make some real nice plays yesterday. Detroit D, bro, are you sure Falk was 4.2? I think coming out of San Diego State. That I'm not sure. I don't know his speed coming out of college at this point. See, go look at the highlights, everyone. Looks like they stand still. Yeah, they are standing still. I would agree. When Gibbs takes off, when he turns it on, when he puts it in the sixth gear, most people can't keep up. Phil, good morning. Good morning, Phil. Hopefully you're having a great one. Looks like you got a new photo of a new guitar in there. Buddy, woo! 100%, buddy. I go with that. See, Rocky M, good morning, Coach Duke Crew. Not worried about who's not practicing, just the ones that are practicing and getting ready for the season and will work itself out. Yeah, I think, really these practices are good for new players to the team, whether they're drafted players, free agents. They get everybody on the same page. Also, if you're talking about an interior defensive lineman or an interior offensive lineman, especially if they're vets, you probably need a little less time for repetitions, etc. Bo, Detroit D, if that's the case, I stand corrected. My memory is old, and I can recall Falk at 4.4. That could be. I don't recall what his timed speed was. See, Hookadoo, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo! Grit, and same to you, Hooks. See, Rocky, looks like a good receiving corpse to me. Woo! Yeah, that's why I think you hear more and more about some of these guys emerging for like the fifth or sixth or fourth spot. I think we're going to be a lot better at receiver than most people are anticipating. All right, Broski, Branch's injury seems more concerning than the Lions wanted you to initially believe. I don't believe that at all. Not at all. It appears that Arnold will miss some valuable time now as well. Who steps up in their place? Roll Tide on the bench. I think Branch's injury is coming along just fine. As far as Arnold, man, we don't even know if he's going to miss any time. So we'll wait and see. As far as who's next, the good thing is the Lions are very deep this year, unlike past years in the secondary. Mike the Marine, Gunny, howdy, Dan, the Duke Crew. Woo, woo, woo. Just for you, Gunny, I'll roll this one for you. And hopefully you're having a great one. buddy. They call me Mr. Gibbs. There we go. Bo Falk was 4.36. Gibbs was 4.31. Both very fast. Yeah, splitting hairs with that one. All right, guys, it is about that time to go on over to get our special guest today. So let's get ready for Anthony. You know him, you love him, you know him all across the world. He's got more fans than probably anybody inside pop culture. So, hey, Anthony, is it true your fan club is internationally known and renowned?
I mean, I hope so. It would be lovely. It'd be a day and age I'd never thought they would. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Hope you're good, Dan. Hope the Duke crew are good. And yeah, hope we're ready for the second day of the Royal Rumble today, because it was quite the fun session yesterday, wasn't it?
It was, man. A lot of people throwing blows, talking about each other's mamas and getting after it. But so let's start off with that. You got these two teams going at it, practicing, and really kind of, as you alluded to, tussling a little bit. Do you think it's a good idea for NFL teams to have these joint practices? And how much do you expect the Dan Campbell and the coaches to be able to learn about their players from these type of joint practices?
I think it helps. You like to see your team against opposition players. Obviously, doing scrimmages in your own team's all well and good, but you need to see what they're like against better opposition, especially for us this year. Like we're looking for a lot of depth pieces this year, like edge guys, wide receiver guys, offensive line guys. There's a lot of spots we need to sort from that point of view. So you want to see these guys be able to go out there and show it against other guys who are similarly trying hard to make rosters. You want to see your Fountains, you want to see your Morrises, you want to see all these guys. Can they actually do it when it matters? And that's the big question we need to answer. So I love the dual threat, the dual format, doing it with another team. I think maybe doing it with the Giants 2 years in a row, because we kicked their ass last year, we kicked their ass in the game the year before. They're acting pissy this year because we've beaten the snot out of them twice. And it really feels like they're trying to imitate us. They're trying to be that gritty, but it's insincere what they're trying to be. I think for us, it looks like they're going out trying to hurt, which is not a good thing. So maybe we should swap the teams up a little bit and get different ones, and not ones who we've just absolutely trounced in recent memory.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I like the idea of the joint practices, but maybe I would switch it up every year where maybe next year, instead of New York, the New York Giants, maybe go, Indianapolis Colts or something like that. Somebody is not far away, can easy drive, but, that way you don't have that built-up aggression. Jameson Williams, we've been talking about him all offseason, that this guy, he's about to put everything into another gear, take the top off the defense, going to have an explosive season. Yesterday, it looked like the Giants had a real tough time covering him, and if you watch the video clips, he puts on a lot of separation from everyone in their D. Do you think this adds to another layer to the belief that Jameson Williams is going to be the real deal?
I said this on our show yesterday. I have never in my life been more convinced that someone is going to go out and absolutely destroy everything in his path this year than JMO. Because, with most guys, you're going to have a bit of trepidation, just rein the expectations in a little bit. But for me, JMO's in a very good place now. We saw what he could do last year. He's done more than enough in terms of earning his spot on this team. He's going to go out there. He's going to be the first guy blocking for his teammates. He's a very selfless player. And now there are going to be targets opening up for him. And hopefully this team can utilize him properly. Let's give him the ball short. Let's give him the ball in the backfield. Let's give him the ball down deep. Let's just unleash him, because he is ready to, and I think he's gonna absolutely slay everything this year. I've never been more certain in my life that we are about to witness a massive breakout.
So today's thumbnail, I'm sure you saw it. I've been speculating that the wide receiver number 3 for Detroit just might be Gibbs. What do you think about him? Do you think they're going to use him more? We've heard coaches talk about and reporters talk about St. Brown and other players working with him on his receiving game. You think we're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs flexed out to a receiver at times?
Of course you are, because in reality, David Montgomery's still going to take a lot of carries in the backfield. David Montgomery's still at the top of his craft right now. So, the issue you have when you've got two legitimate running back ones, the one who's maybe a bit more versatile. And in fairness, in Gibbs's case, he is, he's not the senior guy in there. You find other ways to get him the ball. Do put him in the slot. Do put him in the receiving game, because then you can use both of them at once and you can get a bit creative. Hell, you can use 2 running back sets, etc. I know we did that a little bit last year, and I kind of liked it when we did that, because you don't know what you're going to get when they're both back there. But Gibbs is a good receiver, so absolutely, instead of having one guy on the sidelines and one on the field, put them both out there and use them. And especially with our depth at receiver it's not filled out yet. Let's go out there and use him. Let's make the most advantage we can. I do expect to see him used a lot there, and I think he'll thrive in that role.
Okay. The defense yesterday, had some good plays, had some plays where they did get gashed. You could see they're still figuring some things out. We've made a lot of talk this offseason, everybody in social media or whatever, about Broderick Martin, Levi Onwuzurike, among other people like Ali McNeil. Ali McNeil, I know, had a day yesterday. So here's my question. Assuming everybody gets healthy, Aiden Hutchinson has another typical Aiden Hutchinson year, how good can this defensive front for the Lions be? Oh,
it could be great. The potential's all there. It's just, can enough players realize that potential? Because, you talked about the interior there. Is Levi going to stay, can Levi stay healthy? It's going to be great for him to get the preseason reps. Broderick's going to come on. He's going to be great given time. But, it's the edge room as well. We need someone to step up opposite Hutch. Obviously, Kamish getting hurt, that room smallens now. But, if Pascal and Davenport and Houston start playing as well as we know they can, if Levi can stay healthy, if Broderick starts to work his way in, then this is going to be a line with incredible depth across the board and a lot of weapons on there. So, the potential for this group is limitless. Like I say, the only problem we've had for a lot of these guys is just injuries hampered the development. Like it has with Levi, certainly it has with Houston, it has with Pascal. So hopefully these guys can just stay as healthy as possible now and can just get on playing football, because it'll be great for us. But the potential for the D-line certainly is there. And, I'm quite confident, especially with Levi. If Levi can do this, we need him, because Reader ain't going to be fit instantly. It seems more and more like Reader's going to take his time in, which is fine. But if he can step up in the meanwhile, that's big for this team. So certainly the potential's there. It's just, can we keep that injury bug nice and well away from him?
So it seems like with the move to Brian Branch to safety, this gives the Lions, I guess you could say, either an elite or a very big star player. I don't know if you're going to call Brian Branch elite just yet, but at every level of their defense, he seemed to have emerging players that are game-changing in nature. Do you think the move of Brian Branch to safety has anything to do with his ankle, or do you think it's just, man, we're putting a great player in a great spot to succeed?
I mean, they've sort of said themselves that they want him to be able to see as much of the game as possible, because he's that clever. If you can sort of sit him back there and almost give him carte blanche to go out there and make his plays, observe the field, be where he needs to be. If they're doing it from that point of view, then I have no issues really with that whatsoever, because he's incredibly gifted. And we know he can be, obviously, at the nickel, if you were to put him there, he could be one of the best nickel corners in the league, certainly within a year. I mean, I think he's already on there, and he's on an all-pro trajectory. So that's why I don't want to do too much with him. I want to be able to put him in a position where he can succeed, rather than ask him to do a ton of stuff and have a lot on his plate. We've seen what it's done with the DBs in the past. Sometimes it's just a little too much to ask of him. So whatever they're going to do with him, just keep him there, let him do his job. He's going to be great. And, you can see his impact on this team is huge. He's one of the best defensive backs on this team already. So hopefully his recovery is going well. We're going to get him back. There's no need for him to play in the preseason. We know what he's about. He's going to be great. But I love this defense and where it's going. You just see the back and forth nature of how everything was over training camp. The offense would do well, then the defense would answer back, and then the offense would answer back. And then, it's the most balanced it's ever looked. In year one, the offense was winning all the time, or the vast majority. It was very noteworthy when the defense did anything. And even sort of last year, it was still quite offense heavy there. But now you're almost seeing just like a little ping pong game backwards and forwards. And that's what the Super Bowl teams are made of. Two, opposing units which just keep making each other better because they're both insanely talented. So from that point of view, it's wonderful to see.
So yesterday, the secondary seemed to make some big plays. Then they also got, shredded a little bit. As we go throughout the preseason, what are your reasonable expectations for this secondary, for them to start gelling, coming together? And yes, Arnold, we'll find out today if he's going to miss a little bit of time or if he's going to miss nothing at all.
I mean, I've always been of the opinion with the secondary. I know everyone says it's going to be great instantly and that. It's going to take time. The only thing that can give these guys the time to gel is real game reps. Like, you're going to have, if Rakestraw keeps playing the way he is, he might even see the field as a first teamer. Who knows? Right. But you've got two rookies out there. But even with the likes of Carlton Davis, Amit Robertson, etc., they're new guys here. They've not played a snap in the short uniform before, and cohesion takes time. The safety group is relatively young. They are all rookies. Like, if he's still a rookie, he's on his rookie deal. Kirby's still on his rookie deal. Branch, if he's playing there, is on his rookie deal. It's a very young unit back there. And then all the corners are new. So it's game time. So for me, it will start a little slow, but it's not an insult to them. It's just, it's like with any unit in football. You've got to play real snaps. And I don't know how many snaps these guys are going to see in preseason. I don't know if it's, it's going to be when they get to the start at week 1 against the Rams. So I think the reasonable expectation is they might start a little slow, but given their mindset, given how they'll play, I think they'll pick one another up very quickly. And like after the first month or so, you'll see that rustiness gone and they will be acting like they've played together for years. I think that's the reasonable expectation, is that after a little while, they will be great.
So assuming that we're somewhat correct on Jameis Williams, St. Brown, all the Detroit Lions offensive weapons, if this defense can get some snaps, a little bit more than I say they did a year ago, how strong could the season be for Jared Goff? Do you think there's a realistic chance? Maybe he doesn't win the MVP, but he's one of the finalists for the MVP at the end of the year.
I mean, the MVP is a popularity contest, right? Everybody, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, all these guys, despite the fact that, like, none of them achievement-wise, Mahomes has, but the others haven't done anything achievement-wise compared to Goff. It's a popularity contest. I think he's going to have a year similar to what he had last year. I think you'll see over 4,000 yards. I think you're going to see a very healthy touchdown to interception ratio with him. I actually think you might see a bit more with his legs this year. I think he does have a little bit in the red zone. He can run the ball.
Okay.
A few touchdowns in there, but I think he just needs to be the quarterback he's been. Our offense is that dynamic. And when we've got the running back group here, they're going to have a few thousand yards between them to add to his 4. We just need him to be really good as he's been. We don't need him to go crazy and be an MVP. And, I don't think that is where he'd go. Again, that running back room's deep. It's got a lot to it. So just be as good as you have been. Keep hold of the ball as well as you have done. And that's a recipe for success with this offense. It's on the defense this year to show that, right, we can be consistently good. And some of those narrow losses we had last year, turn into wins because we're giving up a few less points. So I just want him to be the guy he's been all along. I don't think he needs to take some MVP caliber leap forward.
Okay. If you had to guess right now, because there's a lot of debate and we've been debating this, it feels like for a few weeks now, who would be the top, or who would be the 5 or 6 wide receivers to make Detroit Lions?
For me, I want to see them playing games first. Like these guys. So obviously you take like your Amon-Ra's, you take J-Mo, you take Raymond. But outside of that, everybody else, like DPJ, apparently been struggling a little bit. And then you've got guys like Caden Davis, you've got guys like Doris Fountain, who are pushing really hard to get on this team. But I want to see them go out and do it in preseason first, because as much as I like seeing it in training camp, like we are a Super Bowl caliber roster this year. And for me, preseason is huge because you can't just have one good game in preseason and be, oh yeah, you're on with us. You've got to stack game after game after game, rep after rep after rep of good performances to show that you are worthy of getting on this roster. If Fountain wants to get on the roster, go out there, have 3 good games in preseason, show that you're good catching the ball, don't make any silly drops, anything like that. We've seen it in years gone past with training camp. All these guys who've performed really well have then got into the games and they faltered and they've not taken advantage of that. So right now, I don't know. Like, you would like to say Fountain might go. He'd be the Cinderella story, but I want to see him do it in the game first. Same with Caden Davis. You might want to take him as your Cinderella story going in, but I want to see it first. But then, again, this applies to the vets. DPJ, Traquan Smith, if he's not dead, but I've heard nothing about. I don't even know if he's on the team anymore, but even those guys have got to go out and show that they can do it. Like, you know, there's no gimmies this year. So I wouldn't be able to give you a 6 right now. I want to see them in the games first before I start making my decisions on that.
All right. So going into preseason games, obviously we only got a couple days away. Do you think going in, we see Hooker as the number 2, or do you think he's going to have to earn that and start as the number 3 when it comes to our first game against the Giants?
So again, and this is not me copping out all the time, but this is, again, what I want to see in the preseason games, because Hooker has, like, I was one who didn't like the Hooker bit the other year, but even I'm like, I don't really care about how bad he's been doing. The change from offensive scheme is huge. And obviously the change in opposition from what you face in college is huge as well. He's undergoing a lot of change. This is his first real offseason, and you can see the problems he's having are those that devolve from the scheme change that he's having. So I have no issues with that, really. But then you see ones like yesterday, that last throw of the day, he had a wide receiver in oodles of open space and he overthrows him. And it's just like, you want to see a bit of consistency there. So, you know, and Sudfeld, by all accounts, has done well. You know, we can't just write him off. He has played in the NFL. He has been out there and done it. And he would be the QB2 as a clip holder for a reason. So I think you just let them go out and fight for it in preseason. Give them a half each. See who is consistently looking better at this moment in time. And then give that. But you take the 3 quarterbacks for me. You take 3. And then when Hooker's ready, you get rid of Sudfeld. But I think for now, you know, you give them an open competition. Hooker's, no one earns anything on this team. Nobody. So go out, let them 2 have a scrap over it, and see who puts their best foot forward.
Okay, I'm down with that. All right, Anthony, why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out to tell everybody where they can find you, where they can check out your information, and keep up with you.
Yeah, you can find me at Road Lions UK. We're a group of Detroit Lions fans from across the pond. So just type that in wherever and you will find us. We go live on Mondays. I talk college ball during the week. You'll see me on other shows as well. So, yeah, if you want to come and check me out, check Road Lions UK. Thank you, as always, Dan. Thank you to the Dew crew. Appreciate you all. Hope you have a wonderful Tuesday. And, yeah, Lions football in 2 days. I can't wait. It's a long wait. It's finally over, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's almost here. He is the most popular British guy talking about Detroit Lions and all the Live Live world, so make sure you go check him out, support his channel, and give him a thumbs up and a like and maybe even a subscribe. Anthony, thank you as always for taking a little time out of your day, man.
Hey, I appreciate it. See you all later. Take care.
We'll see you now. All right, getting back over to the comment section. One I did want to throw out. I know, Gray, you asked for it, so I'm going to give it to you. Just because I enjoyed that, man. Bo, Tar Heels, I've heard that. All right, Broski, MVP isn't a popularity contest. Don't take advice from the... Oh, boy, here we go. Let's see, Dimitri, Bo Booth, go blue, baby. All right, fair enough. Let's see, Kurt, Kurt, I was born on the U of M campus, born Wolverine. All right, there you go. Let's see, Frank, think MVP is already set in stone. It will be a running quarterback, not an old school, stay in the pocket quarterback. Maybe, man, and I do think there's a level of popularity that falls into it, like there is with anything when it comes to voting. People are going to vote for what they think and what they, images they have in their head. If it's going to require fan votes or player votes or whatever, no different than the NFL top 100. It is to a certain extent a popularity contest, and, you go with it from there. Dimitri, Bo Booth, laughing. All right, very good. Mr. Scotty, we got Ant-Man, ! You rock. Always put all your heart. Yeah, he always puts all of his heart into being a Lions fan. He is, man. Him and the guys over there, they really do live and breathe this. He does a great job with breaking things down. If you ever get a free moment, go check out his information on the college game, especially. I think him and his guys on the show, they do a great job with things. So, again, always very thankful to have him, Kurt Steele, and other people come on our show as well. See, Anthony, yeah, it is, broski, or quarterbacks would not win it every year. This is true, all right? Broski, Anthony Fitzpatrick, quarterback is the most important position, though. It is, man. If you don't have one, if you don't have a good one, I should say, you really don't have much of a chance in the NFL. I'm frank to think all the other players are so close together. They are all good, just like real life. You need a little bit of luck to get on the team. Go Lions. You're 100% right, Frank. You've got to make it. You got to have a few things go your way. Maybe the right place at the right time during the game. Make an impression in practice. Make something stand out, especially when most of the guys are fairly even. That, hey, a coach is going to think of you over somebody else. Let's see, broski, is your screen name Ant-Man? If so, you said what up to me yesterday. Could be. Big D, thanks, Bud Hookadoo. There you go. Hoorah. There you go. Frank, a lot of people don't care how he plays. It's all about the name. A lot of people watching the Red Zone. There you go. NFL Red Zone. I never watched that until maybe 2 seasons ago. I really do love that now, at least when I'm not watching Lions games. See, Bo, Roar of the UK, exclamation point. Go Anthony Fitzpatrick, 100%. Great dude. Amy, everyone, please remember to give a thumbs up. Go Lions. Woo! Yes, if you haven't yet subscribed or given a thumbs up to the channel on today's show, please consider doing so. Frank Hooker, William Bo, quarterback 3. He is not ready, man. No, he's probably not ready yet to be the number 2. And I know that's what I've talked about. When I watch him this Thursday, I want to see, here's his baseline Thursday. What does he do from that to the following week to the second preseason game? If there's significant improvement, then I think you got something there. Could Sutfield be the quarterback number 2? It is possible. We're going to have to see how he does, though, in the preseason games also. See, Chuck E. Cheese, there's a popular thing that goes into MVP, but you can't deny numbers one way or the other. Yeah, you've got to have the stats, and then it comes down to what people think of you, probably, to a certain degree. All right, Dimitri, Kurt Steele, I was born in the big house, go blue, 100%. Hey, a lot of big blue fans, Michigan Wolverines fans. I get their Spartan fans too. Me, hey, I'm just kind of Switzerland between you guys because I'm a USC fan. See, Patrick, it could also be the hooker is a gamer and not so much in practice. There's probably something to that. I will say this, all the reports so far about Hendon Hooker that have come out say that when the Lions put him through the 2-minute drill, he looks vastly different, vastly improved, because he's probably not having to process as much information, sort of like you're saying, Patrick. He's just out there going, playing, and just doing things kind of instinctively versus having to remember where somebody's going on the route tree, etc. See, JDC, happy trails, go Lions, victory, 100%. Good to see you, and see you on the next Lions Talk. Patrick, he might just surprise everyone in the game. Yeah, wait and see how he does, man. Give him his opportunity. Now see how much he improves on a week-to-week basis. Bo, hooked on a feeling Thursday. I got to believe you're right. We're, a little over 48 hours away from it. All right, guys, I'm going to go and wrap this one up. If there is some sort of breaking news today or fight gates or fight developments or whatever, I'll try to give you as much of a heads up as I can. If you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so, making that push for 7,200 subs. Also, if you would be so kind, hit that thumbs up button. Chuck E. Cheese, teams are not going to be able to maintain Gibbs and J-Mo on the field together. It's going to be difficult, for sure. Brent, happy trails, one pride. Dimitri, I feel you. Dan, you like who you like, 100%, man. I watch the Wolverines a lot, though, just because I have so many friends who are Michigan fans. I guess I've kind of become one a little bit. But, I'm going to bleed USC until the day I die. All right, we'll see you guys on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.
Happy trails to you until